We've all heard the word genius and instantly thought of names like Einstein, Da Vinci, Marie Curie, Alan Turing, people whose ideas changed the course of human history. But what exactly makes someone a genius? Is it simply a high IQ, an exceptional memory, a unique way of thinking? Or is it something deeper, something wired into the very structure and chemistry of the brain? Scientists have long studied the minds of brilliant individuals, trying to uncover what sets them apart from the rest of us, and what they've found is fascinating. Genius isn't just about raw intelligence, it's about how the brain is organized, how it processes information, how it adapts, and sometimes how it breaks the rules. Let's start with the basics, the average. Human brain contains about 86 billion neurons, but what matters more than quantity is the quality of the connections between them. In genius-level brains, these connections are often denser, faster, and more efficient, particularly in areas associated with working memory pattern recognition and divergent thinking. Divergent thinking is the ability to generate multiple solutions to a single problem, to think in non-obvious directions, and connect seemingly unrelated concepts. This form of thinking relies heavily on a well-connected default mode network, or DMN, a set of brain regions active during introspection, imagination, and memory retrieval. Geniuses tend to have heightened activity in the DMN and an unusual ability to integrate it with the executive network, the part responsible for focused decision-making and cognitive control. This integration means that while most people toggle between creative wandering and focused tasking, geniuses can often do both simultaneously. They can drift into deep thought and still analyze with precision. They can imagine wildly and reason clearly. Take Einstein, for example. Post-mortem analysis of his brain revealed a larger-than-normal corpus callosum, the structure that connects the left and right hemispheres of the brain. This suggests greater interhemispheric communication, allowing him to blend mathematical logic with spatial intuition seamlessly, but structural differences aren't the only factor. Functional patterns matter too. Many geniuses display unique patterns of brainwave activity, particularly an increased presence of alpha and gamma waves. Alpha waves are linked to relaxed alertness and flow states. Gamma waves are tied to insight and learning. These rhythms allow the brain to operate in a state of focused openness, the ideal state for both absorbing information and generating breakthrough ideas. Genius also involves a high tolerance for cognitive dissonance, the ability to hold opposing ideas in mind without needing immediate resolution. This mental flexibility allows for deeper exploration of concepts that might seem contradictory or incomplete to others. It's not just about having answers, but about staying with questions long enough to uncover entirely new paradigms, and that ability often starts early. In childhood, many geniuses show signs of asynchronous development. Their intellectual abilities soar, while emotional or social development may lag behind. This mismatch can cause isolation or even misdiagnosis, but it also creates space for extreme focus. Deep interests often evolve into lifelong obsessions, and those obsessions can lead to mastery. The brain of a genius is rarely silent. It's often described as noisy, restless, flooded with ideas and possibilities. While this mental busyness can fuel innovation, it can also lead to mental fatigue, insomnia, anxiety, and even burnout. The same pathways that make brilliance possible can also make peace elusive. This brings us to an important truth. Genius is not always easy. It doesn't guarantee success, happiness, or balance. In fact, many brilliant minds throughout history have struggled with mental health. Van Gogh, Tesla, Newton, and even modern innovators have faced depression, bipolar disorder, or intense emotional volatility. Why the same brain regions associated with creativity and abstraction are also linked to mood regulation: the prefrontal cortex, the amygdala, the limbic system. These regions influence both thought and feeling. When they're hyperactive or imbalanced, the result can be both extraordinary insight and emotional instability. But not all geniuses suffer. What often makes the difference is how their environments respond. If a gifted brain is nurtured, challenged, and supported, it can thrive. If it's misunderstood, restricted, or shamed, it can implode. This is why education, social connection, and emotional intelligence matter as much as raw intellect. One of the most misunderstood aspects of genius is that it rarely appears as a fully formed talent. Instead, it shows up as curiosity, a need to know, a hunger to understand, a refusal to accept superficial answers. Genius grows not from knowing everything, but from wanting to know more and being willing to look where others don't. Many geniuses aren't the fastest thinkers, but the deepest. They're not always the loudest in the room, but they're often the ones asking better questions, seeing patterns others miss, challenging assumptions that most people accept without thinking. One of the most striking qualities shared by many geniuses is persistence. While talent plays a role, it's often the relentless pursuit of an idea that leads to true innovation. Geniuses are often obsessed. They return to problems repeatedly, turning them over from every angle, refining, exploring, pushing beyond the first answer, the easy answer, the expected answer. This obsession is not always comfortable. It can lead to isolation, frustration, and even despair. But it also leads to breakthroughs. The light bulb moments we admire are often the product of thousands of hours of unseen effort, countless failures, and a refusal to settle for conventional limits. Brain scans of creative geniuses show that they often exhibit unique patterns of connectivity between regions that don't typically communicate well in the average brain. This cross-wiring allows for the blending of concepts from different domains, mathematical ideas shaped by visual thinking, artistic ideas grounded in logical structure, scientific questions approached with emotional depth. And this brings us to one final myth. Genius is not limited to science or math. It can express itself in poetry, in music, in architecture, in empathy, in movement. The brain of a genius is not defined by the field, but by the depth and originality of engagement within it. What matters is not what they do, but how they think. And this kind of thinking is available to more people than we assume. Because genius isn't just genetic, it's experiential. It's nurtured through curiosity, challenge, openness, and resilience. It's sustained by environments that allow risk and encourage unconventional thought. You may not have Einstein's brain or Tao, Vinci's imagination, but you have a brain capable of extraordinary things. You have the ability to question, to focus, to connect ideas across boundaries, and to explore your own obsessions with depth and courage. So what makes a genius? It's not just IQ or memory or talent. It's a brain that dares to wander, to wonder, to break patterns and build new ones. It's a mind that gets quiet long enough to hear something different and strong enough to follow where it leads. Because in the end, genius is not just about brilliance, it's about bravery. The bravery to think differently, to feel deeply, to pursue truth even when it's uncomfortable, and to keep going when no one else sees what you see yet. That's not just a neurological advantage. That's a human possibility.